Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the OnePlus Nord 2 that I've been using for slightly more than a month now. So think of this as a long-term review about this device right here. And actually over the past few weeks, I've seen quite a number of phones being launched. But as of today, I still think that the OnePlus Nord 2 here is actually a very good device. Whether or not you're looking for a mid-range device or a premium flagship device, this guy here, the OnePlus Nord 2, actually can slot in somewhere in between. Now, before I begin, let's just talk very quickly about the price here because the OnePlus Nord 2 actually just landed here in Malaysia through the OnePlus Global Official Store. Now, in Malaysia here, we're getting this device here for RM1599 with promotions and RM1699 without promotions. But if you're in other places of the world, that's approximately $380 US. Again, very affordable pricing here for a device with this kind of specs. Now that I've mentioned about specs, let's talk a little bit about what this device here offers for that amount of money. We're going to start off very quickly with the design right here because I think this is one of my favorite points of the OnePlus Nord 2. As you can see right here, I have this device here in both the blue version as well as the gray. Now, I like the fact that they both look very minimalist here with their designs, but let me show you guys a little bit closer. The blue version that we have here actually comes with this glossy back panel. I mean, it feels nice to the touch, but it does capture quite a fair bit of fingerprints, and if you have sweaty hands, it will become quite slippery. Other than that, I really love the fact that this blue here reminds me of the original Nord, and it does feel very nice in hands. Now, on the other hand here, we do have the gray version, and this is personally my favorite smartphone color to date. I love this gray version here, and the fact that it comes in this matte, very smooth touch to the back here without any fingerprints at all really puts this at the top of my selection. So this is the gray version here. It feels great in hand and it looks great as well. Now, one thing I do need to point out here is that this device here is a slightly smaller device than what you might actually be seeing in the market these days. These devices here are only 6.43 inches, and what that means is that for people with small hands like myself here, I can almost grab the whole device in just one palm. Now, moving on to my next point here, let's talk very quickly about the display at the front. Yes, we do get a 6.43-inch Super AMOLED display. It is 1080p and it runs at 90Hz refresh rate. Now, bear in mind, because it is an AMOLED display, colors and contrast levels are great. I mean, it's everything that you would need to expect with a typical AMOLED display. However, I did wish that the display here came with 120Hz because 90Hz to me is smooth, but it's not just super smooth. I do have to point out one thing. With the 90Hz refresh rate display right here, you actually do get to save a little bit on battery life, so I guess it is a win-win here for both the user as well as the device itself. Overall, I am very happy with the display here on the OnePlus Nord 2. It is a very solid display, it gets very bright, and of course you get that contrast and saturations of any AMOLED display. Alright, now let's move on and talk very quickly about the performance because this guy here, they both come with the Dimensity 1200 processor. Now, as of now, this Dimensity processor is actually still MediaTek's flagship processor, and what this means is that you'll be getting flagship kind of performance, and just in terms of performance, it is very comparable to the Snapdragon 870. So what this means is that launching apps, launching your games, in fact playing games as well on this device here is very smooth, everything launches very quickly, and don't forget, if you are a hardcore gamer, you will actually be able to enjoy games on the OnePlus Nord 2. Don't think of it as just a mid-range phone. It is capable of handling most of your games at very high graphics without getting too hot. In terms of RAM, you do get a decent amount of RAM starting from 8GB all the way up to 12GB, and in terms of storage, you get the UFS 3.1 fast storage. So again, it is very good on these devices right here. Now, I'm going to move on very quickly and talk a bit about the cameras at the back because they do come with a very interesting set of cameras here. So at the back here, note that we can see a triple camera setup. The main sensor is actually the 50 megapixel Sony IMX766, which is a very good sensor. You see this particular sensor on most flagship devices. Apart from that, you also get a slightly mediocre 8 megapixel ultra wide, and last but not least, you get a practically useless 2 megapixel monochrome sensor. Now, I'm almost going to forgive them for the not so useful 2 megapixel sensor here because we have that awesome 50 megapixel main sensor. And what I mean by that is pictures taken during the day, pictures taken during the night. It is a very consistent sensor, and it is able to churn out very good pictures on the OnePlus Nord 2 right here. You're really getting that kind of premium experience in terms of the main sensor here right on the OnePlus Nord 2. Now, however, if you're the kind of person who likes to take a lot of ultra wides, well, it's not to say that the ultra wide is not a great sensor. What I mean by that is actually on the sides, you might see that it's a bit blur. It is not super sharp, but that's just the kind of image you can get from most ultra-wide sensors these days. One more thing that I do have to point out is that this sensor also comes with OIS. So if you have shaky hands or if you like to take videos, definitely you can enjoy a lot more stability with the OnePlus Nord 2's camera. Now moving on, let's talk a little bit about the experience with this guy here. And by that I mean, let's talk a bit about the haptics. So in the OnePlus Nord 2, we do get the X-axis haptics. That means that all the kinds of vibrations are very crisp, they're very short, and they feel great. It makes the overall experience very smooth and fast. Apart from that, Oxygen OS is also running very nicely on this device here. I have seen a couple of updates over the past few weeks that makes it more and more stable. I don't face any bugs at all with the OnePlus Nord 2 right here. So I think that's definitely a good news. If you are worried about OnePlus going the ColorOS way, again, I would say that don't worry about that first. Honestly speaking, if you tried out the latest Oppo devices, ColorOS is actually improving and getting more and more mature. It's getting better day by day. So that's just what I can say in terms of the UI. Next thing I want to point out here is in terms of the stereo speakers. We do get stereo speakers at the bottom as well as on the top. And by the top, I mean that the top speaker is using the earpiece. They sound okay, they're not the greatest. They don't get very rich, but the volume is actually quite high. And if you do want to have a better audio experience, I would strongly recommend you to connect a pair of wireless earbuds to this device here because they do not come with the headphone jack. Yeah, that's long gone and missing, so don't miss that on the OnePlus Nord 2. Last but not least, very quickly, let's talk about the batteries at the back here. Now, if you notice from these devices here, they're very slim, and that's what I like about the OnePlus Nord 2 as well, and that is because it only comes with a 4500 mAh battery at the back of these guys. Now, you might think that that's a little bit smaller because we often see 5000 mAh batteries, but honestly speaking, I was able to get one full day of use on one single charge, so no issues there. And if you just want to get more juice into the device, the box comes with that 65-watt fast charger that actually does 0 to 100% in approximately 30 minutes. I think that's very good in terms of speeds for the charging on the OnePlus Nord 2 right here. So overall, over that past 1 month plus, I did not actually face any issues with battery life. It's just great. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much what I want to cover with the OnePlus Nord 2 devices right here. Let me know if you have already purchased something like the Xiaomi 11T, or maybe you're still thinking about a OnePlus Nord 2. Definitely check out the links down below to see where you can get the best offers for the OnePlus Nord 2 here in Malaysia. Again, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, sub to the channel, and I definitely hope to see all of you guys in the next video. Thank you everybody. Bye!